So I've been trying to build a cloud chamber, and I came across a channel by a gentleman who goes by the description of Curious Scientist. To keep things simple, I'll just use CS from now on when I'm referring to this person. Did a great job. He's built several iterations, did a lot of testing up front. So for sure, anything that succeeds in this process, this project that I'm taking on is his credit. Any failures are because I changed something. So first and foremost, you can kind of see that I don't have the slick 3D printed version of his mounting base for the aluminum block. I have a piece of ultra high molecular weight plastic. Now, it does look suspiciously like the cutting board from my wife's kitchen. Definitely not that, no. She doesn't watch this channel anyway, so I'm safe. I don't have a 3D printer. I do have a garage with lots and lots of goodies in it. So this UHMW works just like wood, so I was able to use all my woodworking tools to create this little mounting base. Now, I don't have it set up the way I would when I'm ready to run it permanently, but I do have plans to seal the contact area between the aluminum plate and the UHMW. It's not even, it's not perfectly flat. I might try a paper gasket like you would use in an automotive application, using gasket material from a car. Or I've got this gasket sealant that is solvent resistant. It doesn't really ever cure though, so it'll be kind of a goopy mess. I'm also testing out a way to make that plate black. I've got some engine paint, some flat black engine paint, which is also theoretically resistant to solvents. I've already tested the UHMW. Everything you read online says that for the most part it's resistant to alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. But I tested it myself and I didn't have any damage. I left it soaked in a container of alcohol, 99.9, and it didn't degrade at all. So I know that's going to be resistant. I've got a temperature gauge here, reading in Fahrenheit right now. And I need to get to minus 25 Celsius or thereabouts. So we'll see if we can get that low. This is just going to be a cooling test. Now, CS used a very elaborate radiator fan setup. I'm going to cheat, and he'll definitely consider this cheating. I'm using a container full of ice water. And being Florida in the middle of the summer, it's the ice is already gone, but the water is quite cold. And I think that'll give me a few minutes of runtime. The good news is in all the classrooms I go to, I have access to ice. They have that in the student area to help in case they get a accident on the playground or something. So there's always ice that I can get, or I could bring my own. That's not that difficult either. So let me get this set up and running, and we'll see if we can get it cool enough to condense alcohol vapor. So here we are running. I let the pump run for about a minute to cool off the block before I put any power into the system. It's 80 degrees inside of here, and I don't really quite have that pressed on the plate, but it's down to 76 already. I'm only running at 11 volts right now just to try things out. I'm pulling 5 amps, which is well within the range of this power supply. So that's good news. And we'll just let it keep running. I may try to figure out a way to attach that down to the base a little better. Been running the Peltier cooler for about 5 minutes now. all of the ice is gone in the water. I've added ice a couple of times. And it looks like I'm going to have to get another thermometer. It quit reading at -4 Fahrenheit. So that's about -20 Celsius. And I'm only running at 11 volts. I can run as high as 12. So I think we're in good shape. I think we're going to be able to get cold enough so I can go on and build something a little bit more permanent than this contraption that I've got set up. I haven't tested the engine paint yet, so I've got a test piece that I'll soak in alcohol and make sure that it's not going to come off. But yeah, so far so good. It seems to be working well. I do think that I will, yeah, that's still cold. I do think that I'll need to come up with a bigger storage device, because this thing does crank out some heat for sure. And I'll need to deal with that and need to find a better thermometer. I think CS had some comments about that, where he had done work on those before. So I'll have to track one of those down. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Hey, everybody. Lou again with Run version 2. As you recall, the last time I tried to run this cloud chamber setup based on, loosely based on designs by Curious Scientist, or CS, I was not able to read below -4 Fahrenheit. So kind of close to where we need to be, but not quite. So I got a little bit better thermometer, read to -250 centigrade. And you will notice it is set on the centigrade scale, so I'm getting there. We're going to try this run again to see if we can get below -25. I think we should be able to. We've got our ice water cooling chamber over here, which I'm going to go ahead and start up. Run this down to about 12 volts. So let's start the cooling up. Get some air bubbles in there. Make sure the hot side of the Peltier cooler is nice and cold. And then we'll turn it on and see what we can get. So right now we're at 27.3. I think the cold water is kind of sort of bringing it down through the Peltier itself without even having it turned on. I've just got a weight on there to keep the lead as close as I can get it to the actual cold plate. And we'll see what happens next. We built this little stand. I will take it all apart here in a minute or two. Once this test is complete and I prove we can get to the cool enough temperature, and sand it up and paint it and make it look nice. I also put some strain relief. I've been really scared about the Peltier cooler. So we've got these loosely clamped onto the leads and also for the pump. So without any other commentary, let's see what we get. So now the Peltier is on. We can see we're almost pulling 6 amps. So 72 watts, pretty serious. And you can see we're already dropping pretty quickly. So I will come back in a minute or two and see how low we go. All right, we've been running for about 4 minutes now, maybe a little less. You see there's quite a bit less ice. I will have to come up with some method to keep the ice from getting sucked into the intake port. It's happened once or twice. It hasn't really strained very much. It's been able to work around it, but I will put a screen or a little mesh cage around that. It's getting quite cold in there. It's about 85% relative humidity here, so it's pretty toasty, or pretty humid. And we're at -31 Celsius and still going. So I think we're going to be plenty cold to vaporize and condense a little bit of alcohol vapor. Next thing is to prep the cage. This is the the device that I'll be using to seal off the top and put the alcohol, the felt with the alcohol in. I'm going to hold off on the first iteration from using the high voltage. I've got a mosquito swatter, fly swatter electric that runs off an 18650 lithium ion battery. We'll wait and put that on. You can tell there's a switch for that that's waiting for future use. But yeah, we're definitely going to have cold enough temperatures in there to do what we need to do. I'm pretty excited about that. So once again, thanks, Curious Scientist. You weren't kidding about this cascading Peltier cooler. It's working really well. And I'll try to clean this up and get it painted, make it look a little bit better. But that might wait until we get a successful run, because I don't want to take it all apart and have to apply the thermal grease again. That was messy. So thanks again, everybody. And I'll probably publish this as a part 1 video, and we'll crank out a part 2 in the not too distant future. And maybe try to find a container that's insulated, because that ice goes away really quick. Thanks, everybody. Bye.